Well, we've had a lovely time in Hull. The marina is really nice. It's inside some basins controlled by a lock, and you know, they're really starting to do up the old town lovely. Today we're off to Drax, which has got a huge ex-coal-fired power station at it, which has been changed over to biomass. Penelope's trying to get me, the Kraken's trying to get me a tour of it tomorrow. And we're staying in an old railway station tonight, so I'm really looking forward to that. So, you know, railways. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be a fairly uninteresting day of bike riding. But hopefully something...
What trail are we on?
We're on the Pennine Way.
Trans Pennine Trail.
Trans Pennine Trail. Yeah, it'll be great, I think, you know. And hopefully we'll run into some more interesting characters. We've run into a couple here. The backpackers we stayed at last night, the host was a very chatty guy. He kind of followed us around, and he was very much into giving good hospitality.
He was a lovely bloke.
Lovely bloke. Interesting life.
Finally, someone else is able to get a word in. The fat man has had enough to say. I am Meggan, the fat man's daughter.
Hi, and I'm Zach.
The fat man's daughter's partner. It's finally our turn to do some narration, as Dad does far enough talking in these videos. I'm surprised PJ gets even the tiniest little bit in. Finally, we're up to episode 49. I feel like I've been hearing Dad's annoying voice for far too long. I think it's time for PJ to start coming into these videos a little bit more. What do you think, Zachary?
Yeah, I agree.
You agree?
If you let him, he'll talk your head off.
You've experienced that while we've been in Croatia. We are filming this from Croatia, so stay tuned.
Once again, we have absolutely perfect weather. This is not normal.
I've been on many holidays over my 26 years of life, going on holidays with Dad. And unfortunately for PJ, it seems the style of holidays haven't changed too much. Usually they involve an astronomical amount of exercise, which hasn't changed. I can see that they've now. Instead, you'd think as he's gotten older, he'd live life a little bit more luxuriously, but he hasn't. Instead, he's making PJ and himself ride all over the world. I'm not even the slightest bit surprised that this is how he's chosen to spend his retirement.
These locks, they've been in use since 1773, and they're repaired in 1826. I dare say they've been repaired a few times since as well.
I was hoping to see a different outfit change this video, but unfortunately we are seeing the same outfit that we've seen this whole series. I'm petitioning for a new outfit, Dad. It's time.
Yeah, lunchtime then.
Oh, very busy. Glossop is busy. And oh, so they got a wedding. Lovely. Okay, well.
20 years together.
Oh, that's nice.
He shouldn't have broken.
I like your flowers. It's lovely.
Well, but it's all in that bit. Are you from Australia?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought so. You've got some Australians here with the same accent.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we're just cycling through to Drax, so
Are you having a
we'll
tour
keep it.
around?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
We come from Liverpool, flew into Liverpool, come
Not the
across.
bike.
Yeah, on the bikes.
Slowly.
Goodness me.
And up to Durham. We're heading back to Manchester.
Carry on.
Thank you.
I have noticed we've welcomed a belt into this outfit. I've never really seen Dad wear a belt, only on special occasions. Maybe riding a bike is a special occasion to him. What are your thoughts, Zachary?
It's warm, and it's very flat, and it's very quiet, and it's lovely. You know, it's just lovely riding. It's very easy.
I just think it's interesting cycling attire wearing a belt and shirt tucked in.
Nerd.
Alright, challenge accepted. Wait. PJ will kill me. Stay.
That horse is thinking, please don't let the fat man on me, please.
Hello. Last night we stayed at an old railway station right next to a big power station, and it was lovely. You know, it was a beautiful room. We stayed in the guards room, and it looks like they've got a horse training centre here, and there's all these horses, and they're out, you know, exercising the horses last night, which was very lovely. Today we've got a short day. We're going to Doncaster. We're hoping to get there around 2-ish, so we can go to the Air Museum today, although it's very unlikely because it's like 10 o'clock now. But PJ's suffering, her butt is really sore, so we'll see how we go today. And we booked out the next few days accommodation to get us across the North Moors National Park, or the Moors National Park. It'll be lovely. So we go from Doncaster and we start heading on the Pennine Trail back to Manchester. Obviously there's no train line here anymore, and we stayed in this part of it over here, which has its own entrance and breakfast room and everything. It was really lovely. I'm just looking at all the interesting things in Snaith, and you know, we got the church, which is right there. We have the manor house, which is right there, and I haven't got the toll house or the hall or the old mill brewery or Saith Hall or Methodist Chapel, but the Saith lockup cells, the penny cells, were there where they used to lock up drunkards, and you had to get a penny to be paid to assure release. They're just around the corner, and I'm wondering if I can get PJ in there. The Kraken, lock the Kraken up in those cells, just there. The actual other side of the road's prettier, but it's in the shadow. It's a very nice little town. I tried to get the Kraken into the cells, but they said they're for drunkards, not for leviathans from the deep. And they're a bit worried about the structural integrity to keep such a monster at bay, so they wouldn't let her in. The Saith Town lockup. They really should be locking her up now.
Dad, I think you should be more worried about gluttony being an imprisonable offence back then. I think you would have. Big boy does like to eat.
For the last like 20 minutes, we've been riding on a bridleway through the fields, and we cross over these irrigation sort of streams, which are just absolutely beautiful. So there's these like stone bridges in the middle of fields, surrounded by nature, and you know, there's a couple of swans down there, and it's just, you can't hear a single thing other than the birds chirping. This is what you get when you bicycle to it. Now obviously you get it even more if you walked, but like, who's got that time? But it's lovely, it's lovely. And we've seen deer and things like that. So it's just been beautiful.
This is where things get confusing, right? So it's the Trans Pennine Trail Route 62 in that direction, the Trans Pennine Trail Route 62 in that direction. And what's this third one? What's the third one? Ah, it's the Trans Pennine Trail in the other direction. It gets very confusing. Can't you just pick one?
You tell them, PJ, they should definitely only pick one way, because it'd be very confusing, especially for someone like me trying to make my way around the English countryside.
Why have one with no three though?
So we just checked in, so tell us what's happening. What's happening?
We're going to the Aircraft Museum. So it's been a fairly short day today. We've ridden about 32, 33 kilometres to get here, and we want to go look at this aircraft museum. That's yeah, I'm really excited, and so's PJ. She's excited that we're not riding any further other than to the Aircraft Museum. she's looking for a cafe to bliss out at, and she's hoping there's going to be one there.
I really don't blame PJ for wanting to find a cafe and bliss out for a bit, because Dad would make sure that this torture continues for as long as possible if you do not stand your ground.
Would you look at that? You barely fit the seat.
Dad's always loved a good museum. As I was growing up and we went on holidays, I feel like every single holiday I ever went on, we went to a museum. And the museum's feature was some mode of transportation. I think about when we went and saw the aircraft carriers, and we've definitely seen a lot of airplane museums, countless ones actually. So I'm keen to see some more.
So Australia hasn't had many bombers, but one of them was the Canberra bomber, where we flew that for in the 50s and early 60s until it was replaced by the F-111. But obviously, and New Zealand had them as well, the Canberra bombers. But there's obviously a love affair with them here, and the RAF flew them until 2006, and India flew them until 2007. So they had a very long operational history as a plane designed basically at the end of World War II. And there's lots of them here at this air base. But yeah, the Vulcan bomber is the one that everybody remembers from the British. During World War II, he was a rear gunner. Yeah, he was very lucky to survive the war.
This video is not sponsored by the Australian Navy.
I did my trade in the Navy in an old World War II airbase called HMAS Nirimba, and all the workshops were in old airplane hangars. So, you know, we'd open up the airplane hangar doors and all our lathes and milling machines would be inside them. And there was an airstrip that was still used between the buildings, right? But yeah, it was an old World War II airstrip. Half of it was still used as an operational airport for like a club, but then you could take the fence down and then use the full airstrip if you needed to. It was a reserve air landing strip for Richmond. Speaking of Nirimba, the first helicopter I went on was there, and it was a Wessex. So this is a Wessex, and it was bigger than Ben-Hur when I was young. You know, like I was so excited to go on it. And the first time PJ saw it was like a monster.
It is, it's terrifying.
There's so much stuff here, it's really interesting. Here's probably the most famous fighter aircraft that the British have made, other than the Spitfire and the Hurricane, which of course is the Harrier. You know, out of production now, but they have one here, Mark III here. We're setting off to explore Doncaster on our way out of Doncaster. Yesterday all we did was look through the Aircraft Museum, which was, you know, you could spend the whole day there really. And from what we understand, some of the volunteers spend every day there. So yeah, it's been good. It's another very short day today. We're just going to do about 32 kilometers and just take it a bit easy. We're rushing back to Manchester a bit fast, so we might as well slow and enjoy the journey.
another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want
Oof, that staircase looks like it's barely holding up, Dad. I can see the crack just about to give way.
For today only, the Kraken is here to talk to us.
Okay, so we're at Wombwell. It's not somewhere I would go out of my way for unless you're into alternative fashion, piercing and tattoos. And I've got to say, they really punch above their weight here. There's really funky little shops and barbers and stuff that specialise in alternative like looks, which is kind of cool. But otherwise, it's just a small like country town. And we're heading through to Millhouse Green, I think is what it's called. And it's just a short ride today. And we're probably going to see something a bit creepy on the way through. So if you are riding through here, we'll show you a little monument you can stop at on the way. So we'll also show you a couple of towns. It's a different part of the world.
And this is creepy. This is from an animal that was spawned in hell, you know, and lived most of its time in the depths of the ocean as a leviathan, terrorizing shipping.
The photos I've seen look pretty creepy.
We learn lessons about mine safety through the blood of others. So in 1838, there was a mine here, underground mine, and effectively there was a big storm that went through and put out the boiler to keep the windings going, so to bring the guys up and down from the bottom of the mine. So 40 children decided to go up through a ventilation shaft called the day hole. So they were going up the day hole, but they didn't realise there'd been a big storm up the top, and this little stream here, which is dry right now, it turned into a raging torrent, and it got blocked by debris. So then it found a new path down the day hole, or the ventilation hole, where the 40 children were climbing up. So 26 of the children drowned in 1938. So, you know, safety is a cost. We learn lessons through the blood of others.
As a result of the disaster, they banned children under 10 working in mines, and they also brought in laws that banned women from working in mines. I wouldn't say that's a vast improvement, but it was the start of major changes in the safety and labour force regulations in this country.
Comes riding up the trail. She looks completely rooted, and everybody can tell. Hey, hey, you're rooted. You're completely bloody stuffed. How do you feel?
Lucky the fat man become a tradesman because he's not a real good singer.
PJ, I do not know how you put up with Dad. He is the worst at times.
It's always the bad boys. What can I say?
From my childhood, I remember it vividly when I was the one that was behind Dad. We'd be running together and I'd be too slow and he'd just start running circles around me. Or there was times that we'd go on mountain walks together on holidays and he would be very far ahead of me, laughing, pointing. All you could do was cry. As much as Dad is smelly and has really smelly feet and does really bad farts all the time, he can pick a beautiful spot to go on holidays, and I've always had great holidays with him.
We just had ice creams in the park and we've only got about 2.5 kilometers to go to the hotel. It's a beautiful day. Is it hot, Charlie?
So much for PJ's wealth of information about England. It's going to be freezing cold the whole time we're here. And we need jackets and we need jumpers. It's bloody hot.
Dad, I don't blame her for wanting to pack appropriately. You told me I could wear joggers up Everest and I did. And halfway up I'm trying to find snowshoes.
Today we've woken up to another glorious day of hot weather. Today we're going to be cycling through the Peak District National Park to a place called Glossop. Along the way we're going past a major reservoir which we were hoping to go sailing on because there was 2 sailing clubs and it sounded like you could rent a sailing boat and go out and mess around in boats and or go swimming. However, it looks like because of the drought there's hardly any water left, so we're going to see if we can do it, but I don't think it's going to happen. By the looks of it, there's just like stagnant pools in the middle of the reservoirs, which is a bit of a concern. This is the worst drought that England's had since 1935. It's been great for us. We've had hot days every day. Today's supposed to be 32 degrees and you know, it's lovely for us, but the English people are really struggling with water supplies because they don't have many. They're used to the rain. We've only had like 3 hours of rain since we got here, so it's been great. This is one of the things that we never have to worry about, riding at the Kraken pace. We've been riding along this bicycle path and obviously some local artist has been turning the stumps into works of art. So we went past an owl just before and here's a gnome with a knife and fork on the back, on his backpack, called Clumpsy. And there's another gnome next to us with toadstools. It's really cool and it's really quite interesting to see them as you're riding along.
We've stopped at a place called the Magic Wood Cafe and the menu includes butties and all sorts of British fare plus lots of chocolate bars and sort of sweets that would tempt cycle tourists. So it seems like a great spot to stop. Charlie's having a egg sandwich with barbecue sauce for breakfast.
On a tea cake.
On a tea cake. Living large. And it's literally fronting onto the cycle path, so you might be able to plan to stop here. It's really cute.
Darren is a paid actor in this series.
We just got up a big uphill. It was pretty epic. Both stuff now. A lot more cycle tourists. We're just another tour coming along the road. We ran into Brendan at the bottom of the hill.
Darren.
Darren at the bottom of the hill, and he's just set off on a cycle tour. He said he's sick of pushing the bikes uphill already. As we were coming up the hill, there's a reservoir right next to us. It's almost empty.
Holy smoke.
Okay, we just rode over the pass into the national park. You first start off coming up quite a steep paved road, you know, it's covered in bitumen, and then you move on to an off-road section of the path where it crosses the highway. You don't take a road bike down there. It's scary as all hell, you know, and very loose gravel, quite very steep. Some bits are kind of flat, but there's definitely bits where you'll just break your wheels and fall off if you're on a road bike. It's scary enough on ours. We end up walking sections of it.
Yeah, only attempt this if you have really good brakes and nerves of steel. And a gravel mountain bike would probably be a bonus.
When you feel the world is over, when you say you're feeling lonely, if you ever need a shoulder, you know where to find me.
Another great episode, closing out episode 49 in England. I love watching your videos, Dad, and PJ, thank you so much for editing all these videos, Dad, and making sure that they're PG for YouTube. I feel like it'd be a really hard task. But keep it up. I love you both. Bye!
See ya!
We're in a town called Glossop, which we didn't really know anything about before we got here, but it's a lovely town. This is the central square, surrounded by very grand stone buildings. We stay in the Travel Lodge, which is right across from Marks and Spencer, and it's got all the shops, like everything's here. It's very late today. It's really early afternoon now when we're setting out, because this is our last day of cycling, and I don't know, we're just trying to stretch it out a bit longer. Yeah, it was a good night, and very pretty town from what we see.
P.S. Dad, it's time to get a new wardrobe, please. We're all thinking it. Please.